Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So I'm going to create a journal, but before I start, there's just a couple of things I want to go through. So I have free postage, free UK postage over £20 until Wednesday, and for my overseas customers, I have free postage overseas, £60 and over. So if you spend that amount, the postage is free on my website and it's applied automatically. So I'll just go to my website. Is that cardstock? So whatever you add to your basket, it'll apply it automatically. And I'm just coming to my website every now and then just to give an explanation how it works. I try to keep things pretty pared back, but you've got the home page, which will just highlight a few products and maybe some bundles. It just highlights different things each time. And if you're after the products, you can find all the products under all products. So you've got your stamps, embellishments, accessories. So under accessories, you've got the wallets, the apron, non-stick craft sheet, heat tool. So all the details are there under all products. We've also got a gallery, which I keep saying I'm going to update. I did update it a little bit back, but I need to update it some more now. And obviously, if you're looking for further inspiration, obviously my YouTube channel just gives lots of ideas with my stamp designs. Also, at the moment, because my project's going to be based on this, I have a Facebook group which is called Tracy Evans Boutique Designs Create, Share, Inspire. And in this group, we're having a challenge. So if you go to the More tab, then Media, and if you go to Albums, you'll see we've got an album, which is our June challenge, black and white with a pop of purple. Now this, I'll go to the community homepage, just so you can see the featured posts. Let's have a look. And you can see I've done a post here regarding the challenge. Now this challenge, we had a challenge in May, which was to support Mary and Lynn. Lindsay's sister, Mary, is going through stem cell treatment. And last month we had a challenge which was using the colour purple. And obviously Mary's still going through the treatment, and I don't want Mary to think that after we've done the one challenge, that's it, we've forgotten her. You know, I'm a great believer in positivity. I know we can't do anything physically, but I think sending positive, happy thoughts, I think it goes a long way to help somebody. So in our June challenge, we're using black and white with a pop of purple, which is what I'm going to do in my journal page. There, I will be offering a prize, as I did last month. It was only 2 days ago. And it'll be £50 to spend on in my online store. So a randomly drawn winner will be announced at the end of June. You need to create a new project, and you can enter as many times as you wish with a new project. So if you join my group, you can see the challenge in there, and it's under the pinned post, you can see. And Lynn's already started with her project here, with the black and white with a pop of purple. I added a little purple flower, and the reason for adding the purple flower is we're using the hashtag Flowers of Hope. So if you can hashtag that, that would be wonderful. And if you can tag myself, Mary and Lynn, that would be amazing. I want Lynn to think we all have her back. It may only be virtually, but we have her back, and we're sending strength and warm wishes all your way. So with that in mind, that's my inspiration for today, for creating today's journal page, and I'm just going to go for it. I love going through. Every time I open this journal, it makes me happy. But again, that would be wonderful for the previous challenge in May. That would have gone perfectly. This is actually a workshop, this one. You can actually find that on the website, Workshop 120. But I just love looking through it. So I'm going to look for a page where I can add the purple. This is on YouTube. That's lovely. That would have gone wonderful with the previous challenge as well. And this is also a workshop as well. So it's just, and I changed it up there and created it slightly differently. I love having pages that sort of coordinate with each other. So let's, of course, I haven't got everything out because that would be too predictable for me. So let's, at the moment, no, so we'll start a new page. Let's just start randomly here. So I'm going to get a piece of copy paper. Now, if you don't want anything to seep under the previous pages, you can just add a piece of copy paper. Obviously, sometimes if you don't add a piece of copy paper, you get these edges. Sometimes I like that. It's like a starting point for me. Right, let's have... There we go. So I'm going to... I always think when you've got the white page here, that's always the most frightening bit. You're like, oh, where do I start? But I think once you've broken down that page, it's wonderful. So I'm going to start with my grunge stencil, which is ST3. And I do apologise, the cutout included, I left that on the packaging by mistake. The cutout isn't included in these because it would just be lots of bits. It wouldn't be a full piece. So there's no point to the cutout bits. But when I can add the cutout bits, I always will add the cutout bits. But with the next print run, that will be taken out. So I do apologise for that. Human error. So what I'm going to do now is, because I don't want this background to move, I'm just... which... Do you like how I can't make my mind up which way? There we go. Yeah, that's it. So because I don't want the ink to move, I'm actually going to use VersaFine Clair Nocturne. Now, I always keep one of my blending brushes for my Nocturne ink. If I'm going to use the permanent inks, the sort of oil-based permanent inks, I always keep brushes separate from my Distress Oxides or Distress inks. But I'm going to use the Nocturne ink because I want this to stay put. I don't want it to move, and I want it to be a really bold black. Oh, I've just gone in the lid, look. So I just want that to be a really bold black in there. So I'm just blending, and what I like to do with the blend is, if I come further down with my fingers, the colour's going to be richer and add more of that ink. You can have it so it blends out so that it's not, you know, quite so bold. It's entirely up to you. You can even mask off areas and just add a certain area. Now, if you clean the stencil straight away, it wipes off straight away. If, like me, you're going to leave what you've got here on, I'll then use some hand sanitizer just to clean that off. Let's have a look. Let's lift our page. Just wonderful. Absolutely, oh, gorgeous. Now, if I add anything that is water-based on here, it won't be affected because it's using that permanent ink. But what I love is, when you blend, can you see you've got that rich colour here, then it blends out to sort of fades out like an ombre. Just wonderful. So let's, now I've got, this is a Thrinchy. So we've got the Thrinchy, and that's on my desk. So I'm going to use the Thrinchy. I don't know why I've got this copy of paper underneath at the moment, but there you go. But with this, let's bring this in. Let's move this out of the way. So let's try and make some space. Now, the reason I didn't clean this is I can see where I've gone now. So if I look at this, if I want it sort of there, I can judge. So this, I can't pick this up. This is like a visual of where I've already gone on the stencil, so I can see where to add whatever I want to add to this Thrinchy, because my stencil's already marked with that permanent ink. So I'm going to get this again and just add the permanent ink. Obviously, if you don't want that Thrinchy to move, you can sort that out. So you can see where I've gone already with the, I can't see the Thrinchy underneath, but I can see the ink where I've gone. So it's sort of like a marker, if you like. There we go. So I've got that marker on my stencil so I can see what I've already used. Now when I'm using black ink, I do like to make sure that I've got a wipe, and I actually spend more time finding the end of everything than I do anything else. So I've just got a little bit of black ink on there so that I don't create any smudgy messes. But you can see now I've got this on here. Let's just move that out of the way. And I can bring this in and I've instantly can line this up. So I can line this up with my page like so. So it lines up nicely because I can see exactly where I've gone, but it instantly gives me a layer. Right, let's turn this out the way. Just want to grab my heart stencil. Let's grab the heart. Do you know, it doesn't matter how many times I go through the stencils. I never sort of, is it in this one? I think it's in this one, isn't it? I sort of keep them together in number order, but when they, at what time they were released, which doesn't always help me. It's a tag, jar. Is the heart not in here? I do worry about myself at times. Trees, it's not in there. Definitely thought it was this one. Pull them all out if you're unsure. I should have got this out beforehand. Yes, I can see it now. There it is. So I actually want the stencil. It's because I've got literally masks in here and everything. There it is, look. There we go. So I've got my heart stencil, which is Snippet Stencil 12. I love that I can keep them in wallets. So let's grab a piece of white card, which I don't have. Let's grab this white card. Place the stencil down. So I'm layering stencil over stencil over stencil. So now, yeah, that's right, yeah. So now I've got my heart stencil on there. I've got a piece of card. Let's not waste the card. And then I'm placing the grunge stencil over there, but I can see where I've inked. So I can place this over where I've already inked because I've got that as a marker. So I can see exactly where I've inked because there's already that marker there. Because the ink is already there. So let's lift this up. We haven't added anything there, but the whole heart doesn't have to be covered. Okay, so there's the heart. And I can clean these stencils, I'll show you, with hand sanitizer. And then I'm just going to go around. Just go around the stencil. I'm going to cut it out so it doesn't really matter if the ink So let's lift that, and I'll worry about cleaning afterwards. But just look at that. Doesn't that look wonderful? Stencil within stencil. So we'll then grab my scissors, and I've got them all in a little jar here to try and be even more organised when doing videos. So I'm going to cut the heart out. Now, it's a distressed heart, but that's what I love about it. Well, of course I love it. I would say I love it, wouldn't I, Tracy? So let's just go down. Cut that out. There we go. So we've got sort of stencil within stencil within stencil. Doesn't it just look lovely? So I can place this over so that coordinates as well. So what we'll do is we'll just adhere these so that it helps, because then your eyes don't start to go funny, which is what happens to me. So let's, some more of these glue bottles are on the way. I should get them tomorrow, I would think. So let's just place this so that is there. Where's the X? So there we go. Not quite, Tracy. Don't press anything down until you've got that in the right place. There we go. So once I've got that layer, I'm then going to add a little bit of shading. So I'm going to add a little bit of shading just around here. And I'm using my Inktense pencil. And then we'll just blend that out. Oh, they blend out beautiful. Little bit of water, Tracy. Let's move the heart out of the way. And the Pink Pig journal is just superb. Absolutely superb. And that's why I stocked them, because they just, look at that, how it blends out. Oh, it makes me happy. These little bits of hair don't make me happy, wherever that's come from. So let's turn the page around, because it's often easier. Let's make sure you can see exactly what I'm doing. So let's blend that out. And again, let's fold that over and we can just see what we're doing. There we go. So we've got that blended over. Oh, doesn't it look cool? And then let's leave that folded like that at the moment. And then we'll add our heart. And I'll just place this. It does make my eyes go a little bit funny, to be honest. Is that there? I'm going to drive you all absolutely mad. There we go. So then I've got the background with the square, with the heart, all using one stencil. Isn't it fun? Yes, I think it is. So just go down the heart as well. And we're going to just highlight all the edge just with that Inktense grey pencil. Let's bring in, but even a 4x4 stencil, just look how just effective it can be. They're just absolutely wonderful. Turn that round. And because I'm using the right card, and what I mean by that is card that allows it the actual medium, so in this case Inktense pencil, to do its job and blend out with the water. So I've got my pink frog card on the Thrinchies and my pink pig journal, and I stock them because I love them and they work, full stop, that's it, they work. I stock them because I love them. Do you know, I'm not being funny, but even that, just like that, you don't need anything else, just lovely. Now if you wanted to extend a little bit of your stenciling, you can. So for instance, let me bring in the S here. And there's not enough ink on there. I want it rich, bold and black. I can come in and I can just add. So it just balances a little bit more. Just wonderful. And I'm not going to worry about that stencil. So I just love that, like that. I absolutely adore it, just like that. Oh, fantastic. Right, so I can then take my stencil. Shall I grab a piece of card? And I want to give that a clean. Oh, pick it up, Tracy. So I'm going to place the stencil on my card, and then if we get some hand sanitizer, so I've just got a little bottle of hand sanitizer. You can use pure alcohol, that's absolutely fine. I can probably use this wet wipe. So I'm going to use the hand sanitizer. I've got pure alcohol as well, so I can use either. A little bit of hand sanitizer and it will clean off just beautifully. So can you see? Cleans off just lovely. So I'll just go to a little bit of a clean area. You don't need as much hand sanitizer as I probably used the first time. A little bit of hand sanitizer. That's actually paint I'm trying to remove with hand sanitizer. But you've got a good quality stencil. Let's lift that up. Just so you can see, I've removed that with the hand sanitizer. I'm not doing it to create a background. I mean, I'll still use this. I'm doing it just to clean the stencils. Let's see if there's enough hand sanitizer on here. There you go. And you know, I've even got the shape of a heart on there, which I could use as a background. I can use backgrounds with hardly anything on. But you can give that stencil a really good rub, just to make sure it's nice and clean. There we go. Quality stencils, look at that, still comes off in a square. I could even cut that up and even make another background. Just, that's what I love about it. That's what I love about being creative. So let's just take this. There we go. And then, you see, I was going to add a floral, but you know, I might not. You have to bear with me because when inspiration strikes, I just go off on a tangent. I do apologise. I'm just looking at TE32. And on TE32 is this rectangle. So I just want to, don't want it. I'm just going to cut this rectangle out. So let's take, so this is on TE32. And the stamps genuinely all work together. I don't say they all work together just for the sake of it. They genuinely do all work together. Because one, it's the same designer, that's me. And two, it's not just random images that I'm plonking on a stamp design and then saying, oh, they all work together. No, no, no. Because I need them all to work together, because I find that easier to create with. It personally inspires me to do more when everything sort of coordinates beautifully together. Now I'm using a larger pair of scissors, because when I'm cutting something like this, I find I just cut a little bit straighter, and note the word a little bit straighter. I'm never perfectly straight. So those of you that, you know, worry that your sentiment is not perfectly straight, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's the overall sort of effect. Okay. So you're going to have to bear with me, because I'm going to faff like mad. Because obviously you don't know where I'm going. But yes, that's definitely happening there. So I'm going to make my sentiment up with my Alpha Florals. So I'm going to use bird. So let's take that. Do I want it all capitals? No, I don't. And I am trying very hard not to say the alphabet, but trust me. I can't sort of, where are we? That's going to fall off, because I knew it was. There's my little eye. I was like, where's the little eye? It's because I added it as a spare and did the others as capitals, just to confuse everybody. Now you can set these all out on your glass mat and then just stick them all on together. I'm just going to clean the back of this and then it will re-stick. So now I want, see, I nearly said, I'm gonna pick you up. Can't help it. A, B, C, D, E, F. I can't stop doing that. Well, it doesn't matter what alphabet I'm using. I'm terrible. I have to say the alphabet. There's nothing I can do about it. That's it. Oh, it does help if you've got the actual. Yep. And sometimes I like to lay them a little bit quirky as well, you know, so that it looks, sort of looks a little bit hand done. There we go. Just wonderful. And now you don't have to listen to me singing the alphabet because I can't help myself. So, yes, so there are duplicates of letters. Now, if you want to keep them in place, you can add some low-tack tape if you wish. But because I've got mine in a wallet, they tend to sort of stay there. And if anything drops off, it means it will stay within the wallet. So it works quite nicely. There we go. So let's grab TE10. So I'm going to take this probably there. Now you can see that I'm not sticking anything down at all. Isn't it lovely how you can create something really, really simple and effective? So I'm going to take one of the birds and we'll have those little hearts as well. See, it stays in the packaging. I'm going to take one of the birds and I'm going to take the one with the hearts in its body because we're sending love to Mary. So I want to use this bird. There we go. I'm going to stamp the little bird in black. Now nothing's going to move on that page because it's all stamped with permanent ink, and it's stamped onto an absorbent surface, so I don't have to worry. I'm working on the correct surface. You know, normally I work on paints and everything and ask the ink to do something that, you know, it's not designed to do, but that's me all over. So I'm then going to take my little bird, there we go. So just cut our little bird out. And I'm going to cut the legs out. If you don't want to cut the legs out, stamp it directly onto the surface, and then you don't have to cut the legs if you don't wish. There we go. It is often easier if you cut the legs out first. There we go. So I can add the bird here. Like so. And obviously I'm going to add a little bit of shading as well, so that it stands out. So let's adhere the pieces that we've got. Take a little bird. Just there. That's it. Then we'll take a little bird and we'll just add, don't want him there. Honestly, this is what I know I'm going to have in there. Let's just, and we'll just give that a few moments. Now, if you're worried about touching all your work, just use a piece of copier paper just to rub over, and I can just wipe my fingers with picking stamps up with that are not completely dry. So I'm going to grab my Inktense pencils. So bear with me while I just pull the trolley out. Now I've got a tin of 72 Inktense pencils, and I've got I think they bought out an extra 28 colours. I never remember, it was that long ago. And those extra ones I've sort of got in a wallet. So I'm then going to use Thistle, which is 0720, and Red Violet 0610. And Inktense pencils blend beautifully. So I'm going to just take a little bit of purple here, like so, just on a few of the hearts. There's hardly any heart there, but just a little bit. So I'm sort of touching it with the Inktense pencil, which for you might not be able to see very well. So let's clean that brush, because it's not going to be the pure colour when you've got black Inktense pencil on there, is it? Take off the excess water, and then I'm just going to blend. Now I'm going to pick up a little bit. Now do not go to your pencils with loads of water. You're not supposed to do that because you can cause issues. What you can do is you can sharpen your pencil, and you can actually, let's grab the sharpener. I wonder if there's some pigment in there. Where's my brush? There you go. So I've sharpened the pencil. Instead of taking your moisture to your pencil, which you shouldn't do because it can go up into the barrel, because these are not woodless pencils. So I've just sharpened the pencil, and then I'm using the sharpener to have some of that pigment just to layer the colour so it's even richer. So don't do what I first did. I mean, I've done it because I'm used to doing it just lightly, but I can pick the pigment up and I can just add a little bit of a darker layer. Okay, so you can pick up a bit of a darker layer. Too much moisture on my brush doesn't help, but you can see I can just watercolour with that, just a tiny little bit. Just watercolour with those, just so that we've got a little bit of purple, because that's the theme. Let's move these all out of the way. Let's pick this page up. We're going to use them hearts in a bit. So I can add a little bit more water to that. You can see the concentration of the sharpening. And then I can just add a few little splatters. Because it's just, obviously, we're doing a pop of purple. And just look at the pigment in that. Now what I did was I sharpened the pencil, and then the thickest end of the sharpening, a little bit, came off, and then I just spritzed that with water, because that then creates a little bit of a wash for me, so it works really nicely. So look how much pigment comes off your Inktense pencil, and that was from my little bit of sharpening. So that it's a better way to do it that way than going in with your pencils on the water. So don't do that, because you can ruin your pencils, which we don't want to do that, do we? So let's take the bird and let's place that back. And I'm going to take these little hearts that you can see here. Let's just place the Inktense back just for the moment. I keep closing and opening this book because I'm really good like that. And then I'm going to take, what am I going to take? Where's me? Oh, here. Going to take the Wilted Violet Distress Oxide ink. Do you know, I'm stamping and then I'm like, I can hardly see it. There we go. So I'm going to stamp the oxide ink there. Just so I've got a couple of hearts. Now, for me, that doesn't give enough oomph, so I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to, that's better. So let's bit of water, a little bit of that wilted violet, pick up that colour. Just give it a little bit more oomph. There we go. I'm going to cut these tiny hearts out. Yes, I am. I mean, they're not difficult to cut out. Fiddly, yes, but not difficult, especially if you've got nails like I have. If you get your tweezers, I should have them somewhere, and believe me, I do have my tweezers here. I told you I'd been organised. So I can add a little bit of adhesive just with my little fine nozzle, take off the excess, and then I can place that just there. Then we'll cut out this little one. What I need is my nails cut. Then I always say that. Then I want my tweezers, absolutely, most definitely. There we go. Add a little bit of adhesive. Take off the excess, and then we'll just add this here. It's all about the little details. So let's add. I've just pierced that through the. That's because I've got it the wrong way. Use the tools properly, Tracy. There we go. So let's just move this. Let's move the glue out of the way. Where's my little lid? There it is. I like to clean the top just like that, and then I'll place it inside, she says. There we go. So I've sort of got the basis of the page, and then let's just clean this because there's plenty of purple in there. It just goes to show how pigmented your quality products are. And I continue to clean. There we go. And then I'm going to take the Inktense pencil. Let's a little bit of water and blend that out. That's it. And then I want to go around my little beard. And let's blend that. Just give it a little bit of dimension. And we'll just touch the sides of these as well. Just give that a little bit of dimension. Do you know, I could faff forever. So then, I don't like to shake it up and down. I like to shake, that's it, I like to shake it from side to side. I've then got my Villainous Potion. And I'm going to add a drop there. Look how much of a little drop I'm adding. Got this colour in the shop as well. Now I can spritz with water and I don't have to worry about what's underneath because it's permanent. Now I'm adding a drop rather than a spray because I want it to be controlled. There we go. So I want it to sort of be mindful of what I'm doing. There we go. That's it. So I'm getting a little bit of a flow. Let's just move you a little bit. It's like I'm talking to the... Move down a bit. That's it. So I just want it to sort of... That's exactly. So I've got that flow. And then I'm just going to gently sort of make it a little bit more natural. So it isn't just a blob of a strip. A little bit more natural. And then just some water in there, just so that oxidizes. And you can see then where we've got black and white with a pop of purple. And then whilst this is wet, I like to add some touches of the Posca pen because it sort of, it softens it, but it sort of reacts. And trying to lift this up without moving the page is almost impossible. Can you see? The Posca reacts and it's just, it swirls with it and creates sort of a marble effect. So let's push some things back now and then we can give that a dry. So for a start, let's put our pencils back just while that does its thing for a couple of seconds. We just push the trolley back. There we go, and you can see this is done in real time. And now we'll give this a dry. And what I'm going to do is hold the heat tool up in the air a little bit, just so that we don't move it. So I don't move it across here by pushing the water across the page. I'm just drying it gently so the water will eventually evaporate and it'll just stay in there. You can see the page moves slightly. Can you see? The page has moved slightly because you've got that moisture in there. If I go down really close, it moves the liquid. You can move it, look, if you wish, or you can hold it high up like I've done. You can move your liquid, and this is why sometimes we say to you, let it dry naturally, because then you won't move any of the liquid. But for this page, it doesn't matter one bit. I've now got it sort of exactly where I want that. I can dry from the other side once that liquid is no longer moving. Now what I don't want to do is go in there and use my kitchen towel. I want that colour just to stay there so that I've got these dark lines. If I use my kitchen towel, I'll blot that out, and I don't want to do that. And then I can just do it from the other side. And you can see I've got all these dark lines which sort of add to the whole page. So you've got all these dark sort of lines that look like a map. Because if you use your kitchen roll now, that just blots it out because it lifts the colour. But what I've got, let me just dry it from this side as well. There's no seepage through your page at all, which is why I love the journal so much. And obviously once you close your page, everything all flattens out anyway, but just so you can see that. So I'm going to add some splatters. Now, rather than sort of fighting with my Posca pen, I like to give that a shake. Really good for your bingo wings. Just get the paint flowing by just pressing it lightly, and then I can add the Posca pen. Now, the Posca pen is wet, so if I dry that quite quickly so that it doesn't take on too much of the purple, or you can use your bleed proof. It's entirely up to you. So just adding some splatters on there, just so that you can see. Let's close this page just so that you can see. I love how we've got a stencil within stencil within stencil, and it just works really nicely. So I just want to add, so let's go back to the birds, the quirky birds, and there's a lovely heart on there. Try and remember not to stamp into the glue, and I'm going to use the wilted violet. Do you know, I always think it goes really quick when you're creating. So take the wilted violet, clean your stamp, what did I do with them little stamps, the little hearts? Oh, they're there. They need a little clean as well because they've had oxide ink on there. Let's just place them back in the packaging, and then we won't lose those little hearts from the quirky birds. Then I'm going to take the wilted violet again and my little brush. You can hear me putting things back because I am trying to be good. So let's pick up the wilted violet and just add a little bit more of that colour, just so that that's a little bit darker, and just blend that out. And I'm going to dry that and then add another layer, just so that it has more intensity of colour. And if I dry in between the layers, it just means that it's going to have more intensity. Let me just use my micron pen. Just to add the heart in the centre. I'm just using my micron pen, just so that the heart in the centre is more highlighted. Honestly, I need a bigger desk. So I shall come in again and just darken that even more. And then we'll cut that out. Go. And then now, whilst it's cut out, I'm going to go back in again and just pick up a little bit more that darker ink just so it's darker at the edge. Give that a dry. And then again, I'm going to pick up that darker edge. There we go. So let's clean up a little bit, and then we'll clean our brush. There we go. So that we haven't got that ink in there. Bring in our page. I'm just going to add the heart. Why did I put my adhesive away? Nobody knows. So just take the heart. Let me just I'm just going to add this here, like so. We'll add a little bit of shading and then our page is done. But I just need that just to grab hold. So just give that a few seconds to grab hold. Or if you haven't got the patience, hold that in place like me. Then we'll take our brush, a little bit of moisture. And we'll just blend that. Come around the edge. That's it. And if we lift this page up, you can see that that is our journal page finished. So we've used a Thrinchy, the heart, so we stenciled, and then just some simple elements on the top. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you'll join us in sending support for Mary and join our challenge. That would be wonderful. And don't forget, there's free postage on the website, UK £20, overseas £60. So love to all, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.